Right, let's see if that works. If the stream key and
we have a super chat already, which is awesome.
oh, goodness, that is super.
$5 and says here to start the day.
Yes. Pre-start. That's a good sign.
Yes. Thank you, Ozzy.
Much appreciated.
Guys. We are here today to talk about, did episode 6 of Picard finally capture that Star Trek feel?
Now, this is a funny old topic because you could kind of say, oh, is it a positive topic? Is it a negative topic? As we found that quite a lot of time we post, our videos are questions. They're for a discussion. And often people in the comments take it as an assertion, like other clickbaity videos on the channels, and therefore post a comment responding to a question which we've yet to discuss. That's the point of the video. And so this topic is theoretically a very positive topic. But I can imagine the comments might have been, shut up, or no, or yes, and here we are to discuss it and have a good conversation. So I'm looking forward to this positive discussion about what I think we both agreed upon. Hopefully lots of people agreed upon as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We already have one dislike, so usually the dislikes are based on just the episode title half the time. They never actually watch the episode or the video. So, whatever. But, yeah, I mean, I want to talk about the good things about this episode that made us feel like we had just seen an episode of Star Trek after forever. So...
Well, it's probably one of those things that is a cumulative factor.
Everybody's telling me to fix my volume. Of course they are.
Alright. Let's see what it's reset to today.
My mic is the exact same levels, guys. We will have to change it in OBS, and because Skype and OBS don't like each other very much. So, okay, we get it, guys. Wow. Anyway, hopefully it gets fixed. Wow, quiet captain, or quiet captain, volume, can't hear you, sound problems, try to swallow the mics. Wow. One is louder with volume. Everything's good now. Yay.
Can't win, can we, Stuart?
Nope. Like I was on Sci-Fi Nations live last night, and Rambling Knut came on, and he says, every time you do a live by yourself, your volume is way so low, I got to turn my TV all the way up. And I'm like, well, really? Because I use different, I sometimes use my phone, sometimes other things, and no one else really complains. It just gets so frustrating, the technical issues.
Although at that point, when you have this many things we do, you're like, I mean, it might just be your phone be too quiet. Like your speakers, it's like I remember one comment ages ago said, oh, I hear you fine on my PC but not on my phone. What's wrong with your stream? I'm like, it's what phone do you have? You might have really bad speakers because the thing's fine. Because like every edited video, I listen, like the audio levels are fine, every single one. So, it's like it's more likely you than us for those.
And the funny thing is, I go back and rewatch my lives sometimes, and I can hear myself fine, so I just don't understand. I don't know. Maybe you should have some sort of auto leveler if things get too loud.
I just wish the audio mix on OBS just told us the right things.
Yeah, because we can not change it from one day to the next, not even film together. Call in and then start the stream, and it's like, oh, audio problems. So
weird. Now I can sense we're both a bit tired already, aren't we?
Oh yeah, I'm not in any kind of mood to do this today.
It's been a long day for you, Stuart.
But hey, not really. Just not been in a very good mood all day.
Well, you know what happens with lives. We cheer you up.
I know. I know, but then getting lambasted with your volume's low, and it's like, okay, well, I have nothing to change, so I don't know what you want me to do.
Promote it while I share it. That's what they want you to do.
Yes. If you want to help us out and get us new audio equipment, maybe new mixers, and to start the says, so that was very much appreciated. Also, you can use PayPal. You can check out any of the links down below. You know, Teespring store, lots of cool Trekyards merch, all that good stuff. And don't forget about Patreon. Patreon's a monthly service that will help us out on a monthly basis. And same with joining the channel. There's a join button down there. You can become the rank of commander, captain, or admiral. And that's just another way to kind of help us on a monthly basis, which is really good for us. It helps us out, and we will try to, try to make things better as best we can. So stay positive. Every day you wake up, God presents you with a menu, bad side and good side. You get to pick which side of the menu you have. Well, it depends what side of the bed you roll off on and what side of that menu you fall face down into, I guess. But yeah. Lou Riviera says, I'll donate a couple of things, although I don't do it for a living anymore. But I was a sound engineer for many years. Cool. Sound engineer. Choose to be happy, my friends. That's funny.
Yeah, sound is my weakest thing in filmmaking. I'm reasonably good at camera and cinematography, but I've never been good at sound because I've got enough to worry about. This is why it's hard to be a one-man band, because you can't do everything. And normally I have to have boom mics. I like directional mics on top of the cameras, but then their range is limited by the range of subject. So that's why boom mics and clip-ons, and that goes beyond my personal, expertise. You can only do so much. But I wanted to and it occurred to me, I want to Google it. So I want to put Discovery for a second. We had 2 seasons. At what point was the first episode that felt like Star Trek, if you recall from that show? So if we're saying episode 6 here, what was the first one you walked away being like?
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to have the list in front of me. Hold on.
You got Vulcan Hello, Battle of Binary Star, Context of the Kings, Butcher's Knife, Choose Your Pain, Lethe, Magic to Make the Saniest Man Go Mad, Si Vis Penem Param Bellum, Into Forest I Go, Despite Yourself, The Wolf Inside, Vaulting Ambition, Pass the Prologue, War Without, War Within, Will You Take My Hand?
I remember half of those.
Yeah.
As far as what the title means, so.
Apart from the obvious Mirror Universe episode, which felt like Trek, still so much referencing us, the only one I think in there that feels really like Trek is the Time Loop one, which I think is an independent, standalone, Star Trek themed, where the whole cast gets to do good. So I think that's their first Star Trek one.
That's magic to make the sanest man go mad.
So 7. So they got it by episode 7 of season 1 for me. But then in season 2, New Eden, I think, is the most Star Trek episode of all 10, and that's episode 2. And it does other things.
Yeah, I don't know. There might be 1 or 2 moments. I know the first minute or 2 or 3 or 4 of the first episode felt Star Trek. You had the satellite they were repairing and the little work bee thing, and it just, the first couple minutes of any Star Trek series, I always feels very Star Trek. But
and I still remember my vibe having watched that for the first time, but like, wow, those Klingons, that's not a good start. Oh, this is a good intro. Wow, the sound effects, and it sort of devolves from there. So six into this, I mean, I find the comments are so scattershot with people's opinions. Like even the last episode, the review. I mean, it's amazing to hear that in one comment I read, and I told you off screen, that one person said, "I'm being paid by JJ because it's so positive." Another person said, "If you don't like it, stop watching, you dickheads, or you crazy fans." And it's like, again, if you can, piss off both sides, then obviously doing something right. But it's amazing how many times one of us or both of us or neither of us say it feels like Star Trek, and we get called out for either saying this one's not like Star Trek or this is very Star Trek. It's a hard bar to go. But now that you've watched the other 5, you said this one first feels like Star Trek, but I'm pretty sure I remember you saying earlier on this one felt like Star Trek. So do you now...
I don't know if I said that before.
Well, would you retract that if you had said they felt Star Trek and said this is really the first like Star Trek episode of Picard?
If I said it, I'd retract it because I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure I never said that about Picard. I probably said the first couple minutes of the first one felt like like putting on an old shoe kind of thing. It felt only after the episode was over, I'm like, God damn, I just watched Star Trek. That's awesome. So, I don't know. I think if I said it, it was probably just about the first couple of minutes of the first one.
Well, that's the problem. It's contrast.
I don't remember.
If you've got Discovery doesn't feel like Star Trek, then you present it with this, it does, sort of. You never know what it really feels like until you're being shown it properly. So if you had said it, you'd said it because that's the best you've been given. Until you realise, oh wait, this is what it's actually meant to feel like. If you know what I mean.
And Jacob says episode 7 felt Trek. Well, episode 7 of what? Because we haven't seen episode 7 of Picard yet, so...
And Discovery is Magic, 20th Century Manga, yeah. So, episode 7 of Discovery. Yes!
Yeah.
Picard is not awful, it's just trying too hard to abandon its roots. And then 2 things. Is it Star Trek? No. And then someone said, yes, it is. See, it's funny. People can say both.
Well, Jacob says no. Episode 6 is what he meant. Which one was episode 6?
But yeah, so what then gave you the vibe in this one then? What was the main factors? And is it just the nostalgia? You know, is it just because you have Hugh, because you have Borg Cube, or is just seeing old Trek makes you think it's Trek? Because I tend to go more on the
probably.
Okay, I tend to go on more of the filmic side because you can throw references in anything. But what do you think drove this one for you then?
Well, the main thing was Picard being the main part of the story and feeling like Picard, I think. Other than that, I think the pacing felt very Star Trek. And
as in slower. Slower but meaningful.
Yeah, and a little bit of a longer episode as well. I don't know. I think the big Picard, though, the fact that Picard's actually the main character in his story, finally. And there were a lot of little things too sprinkled throughout. I'm sure we'll talk about, but I think it was just mainly Picard. Get some very Picard-like moments in this one, and then of course all the flashbacks to the Borg and Cutis and stuff I think really helped. But
do you think,
I don't know, it could have been a subconscious thing.
Do you think because this episode was treated as it was actually part of the greater universe? Because if we were writing it, or fan films, or anything that uses the universe, if you go on a Borg Cube, obviously mention Locutus, and you'd show PTSD, you'd show clips. Like, these obviously things would happen. They actually used them all, or at least a lot of them. And do you think just because they used the universe, it felt like part of the universe? Whereas they've been sort of abandoning them and by using like Discovery shuttles and not even bothering to use like Type 9s or whatever.
That's the thing, yeah. We kind of abandoned this whole Star Trek field just based on no Starfleet, really. And what we've seen hasn't really represented Starfleet, even what we've heard about what Starfleet has done. So
that's true.
It's kind of lacking that vibe. There's no starships. So Discovery shuttles everywhere. Just stupid shit like that. I think it's really hurting it.
I mentioned Starship, but the ship or station was always a character. The Lesserina is a taxi. It's an
Uber. It's not a taxi.
Yes, it's an Uber, space Uber, but it's got no personality. It's got no anything. Like, how fast is it? We don't know. How many weapons? We don't know. It's completely meaningless as a ship. It's just a fast travel vehicle. Whereas like the Firefly, in a similar vein, Malcolm Reynolds to Rios, I think it is a decent comparison of those two characters, actually, now having watched it. Malcolm being a bit more sarcastic and fun, but also darker. Rios is actually more balanced than I thought it was going to be. But the Firefly, within one episode, you really understand the vibe of the ship, and each room has a different personality, and the sets are all really interesting, and you do this big walk around, and we haven't even done a real walk around of the ship. Like, why haven't they done like a long establishing shot, just a full walk around and showing the ship and talking to everybody? And I was like, oh, that's the ship, cool. We're missing all these little things. The ship is not a character; it's just a vehicle.
Yeah, I would totally buy that. Because the Enterprise has always been my favorite character in any Star Trek, really. But yeah, there's lots of elements that just are so outside the standard Star Trek Starfleet box that it's just like, okay, well, this is what it is. Feels like, again, as we said it many times, generic sci-fi. But yeah, I would say yes to our answer to our question. This finally did capture the Star Trek a little bit, and as I said, there's multiple reasons for that. Some of them are probably subconscious, but there was some good stuff.
And the fact that you can do the super chat one, and then I'll jump off that.
Oh yes, look at Tara Radio, £2.
Thank you.
It all feels like a disco. It all feels like a disco verse should be.
I mean, it definitely feels like an evolution from that side of the universe, yeah. Dystopian. Because you know how in Discovery, when they all beam aboard the Discovery, all guns pointed all across the bridge, it's like, hey, stop, or shoot. Very, very utopian. And but even something simple as this Admiral, she's not a bad officer, she's a good officer in a good-looking uniform that fits her reasonably well, does her job, represents Starfleet kind of appropriately, and it's a fun scene. Because that one thing gives us that Starfleet grounding, which has been, hard pressed to feel. And something as simple as in last week, why the hell didn't we see Picard's ship in orbit? If we started with an epic beauty of a Federation starship, and it beams down in uniform, that would have been a Star Trek, would have added so much more grandiose Star Trek feel to it. And he could have had Ravi beam down in uniform and then find him, and that would have been much more impactful,
Yeah, that's true. But we're not going to get that, unfortunately. They seem really hesitant to show us any kind of starship or any kind of thing that we would like to see to make it Star Trek. Cost-cutting measure, don't know, but it certainly feels like it.
Yeah, I keep saying...
And then reusing the Discovery shuttle ad nauseum is a little bit much, too.
I keep saying, where's the money going? 'Cause it's not going on screen. Or you wonder if all the cast were more expensive than we think. So I don't know. I don't know the Rios actor or the Ravi actor from anybody. For me, they're unknowns. You know what I mean? Sneak was an unknown to me. I know she was in Walking Dead, but I mean, okay. But I guess if they're actors being paid more these days, and so if the entire cast is taking 4 million of the 8 million episode, it's like great. That's the cast budget.
Eric Appleding says it's going to all the producers because there's like 14 of them.
Sure. Yeah.
I would buy that.
Yeah.
Money equals it's in their noses. Oh. Cocaine.
And
I don't know.
Dan23 says, well, they did say this show was a retired Picard, so they didn't want to show any Starfleet ships in a world where someone has retired from it. Don't think that follows. You should, if anything, show the contrast of the Starfleet to the non-Starfleet. And if you're going to show them in Starfleet, use that for the few seconds you have them,
Yeah.
And then you wonder, why does the Orville feel more like Star Trek? Because that's a good question. Does the Orville feel more like Star Trek than this last episode of Picard?
Yes, every episode of the Orville does.
Right.
Bright colors, bright uniforms, hopeful, optimistic outlook, quirky crew that actually understands each other and talks to each other and knows each other, and
who we like and relate to.
Lots of great ship shots, and taking the time out to actually do a flyby every once in a while, or show the progression of time.
Memorable music. Da, 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 da. As per, I couldn't tell you, I couldn't hum a single note from this show. I mean, it's completely forgettable.
Except for the old beats.
Well,
they kind of sprinkle throughout. So
yeah, I think Discovery had better music. I'll be honest. I'm trying to think what was the music, but I think they had better music. What do you think?
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
It's been so while. It's been so long since I've seen Discovery, actually.
I take it Discovery's not a show you choose to rewatch for fun.
Well, I will at some point. Just watch them all, but I don't know. I just haven't.
We still got.
I know there's season 3's coming up, so.
Oh god, do we have to do a season 2 rewatch? Do we? Oh no. Oh no.
Nope. No, we don't.
Oh. Yeah, it still would be kind of interesting though to see if the arc works in like, you know. But I would suggest like doing it with like 4 episodes a week or 3 episodes a week, like burn through it, rather than like 1 episode a week. That's the same way they watched it, or we watched it originally. Do it like more bingey style. See if it feels different.
Yeah.
See if that covers the vibe.
I don't know if I want to go through full reviews though again because you already reviewed it. You can do a rewatch and just talk about it.
I mean, they'd be shorter, wouldn't they?
But,
I mean, it'd be more of a it wouldn't be scene by scene. There'd be sort of things we thought of.
Telma ML, $3.
Thank
I
you.
hope this season of Picard is only a nightmare.
I'll be too. No, they can't cop out like that. Oh, Nassim says he'd rather watch Move Along Home than Discovery. No, I cringe at that one, so I couldn't watch that.
Yeah, that I will disagree with. I'll look at Tower Radio, £10. Rios' ship should have been a retired Constellation class rather than a first A colored box in red and white. A lot of people also said Miranda class, an old stripped down Miranda class.
I don't know.
Those would have been neat.
It would have been a cop out though, I think, and it wouldn't have sold to. Although I haven't seen the ship on any poster. You know, like Discovery it's on the poster. Let's read it isn't anywhere, so they're not like promoting it as part of the show. So who would have cared if it was any other ship? It wouldn't have made sense for it's that big a ship because those ships are pretty big, you know. Or be a smaller ship that would make sense.
Yeah, but even know that the Miranda class went from like 180 officers down to like an operational crew of 30 by TNG, just because of the automation and stuff. So give it another 20 years. I'm sure Rios would be able to command one all by himself with his holograms. Who knows?
Or maybe maybe you like make a modern take on one of the Rick Sternbach runabout concepts and like extend it a little bit. So it's like, you know, old cargo ship or Janolan-y, but modernized.
No. We should thank our lucky stars he's not flying around in a Discovery shuttle. Because they could have done that.
Or the saucer ship.
Saucer ship.
Yeah, the one from the short, which actually looked okay in the short. Don't remember what it's called. The saucer with tuna cells in the saucer.
Oh.
Don't know what it's called.
The Maggie class?
Yes, the McGee.
No, the McGee class, that's it. That would have been awful.
But that is weird now thinking about it. The ship isn't in any poster. Just not at all. So I wonder if the ship was almost a second thought. Because there's so little design work in terms of any ships or some more weapons, but there's no ship station real design process. So I mean, John, he's on the ship. He's on the show. I mean, Discovery, he did like, 35 things, and Picard is under 6, isn't he, at this point? It's like, wow, you have a design... You want generic cargo ship, you want... That is all. Oh!
Fennec Ranger ship, which we never see, really. And
bird of prey.
Antique bird of prey.
Which is great.
Yes, that was good. The what the fuck class equals the Maggie class.
Yeah.
The Maggie class. I was saying, yeah, I never pronounced that right. Sorry. There was a meme out there for the Star Trek Picard ship named the ship USS the Sheer Fucking Hubris. Yes. Please pause Swift back puts in $2, 189 watching, and 62 likes. Hashtag Trekyards like Spike. Everybody hit that like button. We got a lot of people watching. Let's get up to 100 at least so we can do it. Olivia Julius, $2. Hey, you all liked my generic cargo ship.
Oh, is that yeah, but it was thought out. You and Barry kind of worked on it together, so
Yes.
because it things link. It helps things link together, you know.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. Anybody else? Do you feel like this was a Star Trek-y feeling episode? Let us know why. And if not, why? Because, yeah, there were a lot of simple answers on our post on Facebook. Nope, not at all. Well, thanks for clarifying, jackass. It's just like...
Well, I think it's also the low bar. It's like we as a family have stopped watching Doctor Who because the quality of Doctor Who has been diminishing. Like, last season was awful, this season's not good. And at what point, it was every week we viewed it for the last 10 years. And this is the very first season in 10 years we just not sat down to watch it live. It's not worth our time to actually make it on a Sunday day. And now the show's finished, we're going to watch it as a binge because then it's like, So the bar has been set so low, Does this episode just feel more like Star Trek? Because unlike any show, it actually has Picard on a Borg cube with Hugh. That can't be done in any other show, Probably yes.
Fisher 2000 Trekyards. No engine room shot of the ship yet. We have seen all the other heroes' ships' engine rooms and warp cores. Yep.
Well, the problem is this isn't a starship. It's a runabout / Delta Flyer, just a bit bigger. I mean, have you seen the runabout's engineering room? No, because the engine is on the top. I doubt the ship has an engineering room. It's got an engine core with a panel outside of it. It's not big enough to have engine room, and also only one guy flies it. I don't get the sense Rios is the most capable officer. No offense to him, he's like a strong medium. So I don't even think there is an engine room. Maybe like I said, I bet there's like an engine console. Like behind this wall is the power core. This is the console, and you press buttons. I don't think there's an engine room. It's just not that big.
Possibly. Well, Eugene throws in 500 rubles. Thank you very much. What is Star Trek? The episode was good, but it barely touched the limits of what would pass as Star Trek, in my opinion. Well, yeah, but barely touching it is doing a fantastic job considering what else we've got from it. So it's not overall. It's not so bad. It's just it doesn't feel like Star Trek at the end of the day. But this last episode was the closest we've gotten. And Samuel even said, like, yeah, this episode he can actually put on the Star Trek scale of ranking it because it feels enough like Star Trek to be put on that scale. So
now, sidestep for a second. The Star Trek feels different for all of us. I mean, some people still don't like Voyager or DS9 or TNG. So the Star Trek-ness is such a whatever. And we're lucky that we're on relatively close ends of a spectrum, even though we're still a little bit further apart as we could be. But if the Star Trek-ness is kind of what the Orville brings, and isn't just the references factor, then does the Into a Mirror Darkly two-parter feel like Star Trek if everything in them is the opposite of the ideals of Star Trek, and therefore is like almost a spit in the face to what Star Trek is meant to be? So does that feel Star Trek?
No.
And yet you would say, if I asked you any other day, does that feel like Star Trek? Well, yeah, it's brilliant.
Would I, though?
Well, yeah, because you'd say there's a TOS Connie in it, and they respect it, and yeah, you would.
Well,
because that's the surface level
okay.
stuff that episode does so well, which is everything from the canon. And the Tholians look great, and the ships look great, and the CG's great, and uniforms done well, and da 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 da.
Oh well, yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yes,
Well,
I would agree.
that's what I'm saying. Like that stuff makes it the Star Trek that we love, even though tonally, it's anti-Star Trek by definition. So you can carry over a concept, whereas you have early episodes of Enterprise that I think of just vanilla as all hell, and it's like if they're low tech on a submarine-looking ship and they just fly through anomalies. Like, does this feel like Star Trek? I guess. So I'm just trying to work out what is the Star Trek feel then. What is the Star Trek that Picard has now captured?
I don't know. There's a lot of Star Trek that has the ships and everything that just is like, okay. It's still Star Trek, but it doesn't give you that Star Trek feeling, I guess, at the end of the episode. And other ones that, like even the one where Picard is working as a mercenary or whatever. I forget the name of the episode. It's a two-parter. It's kind of what we're seeing in Picard, but it was done so much better. And it still felt Star Trek, even though there wasn't all the Star Trek elements in it. So it's hard to say what makes Star Trek feel like Star Trek, honestly. I don't know. I really don't know. Look at our radio puts in 2 pounds. No engine room. They have to get out and push. LOL. Sure.
Type 9. Where's the shuttle? Where's the engine room? There is none because it's too small. Yeah, no, that one where he's the. See, I don't like the episode where Picard's pretend to be the pirate. Don't really like that. It doesn't. I like some of the seeing Riker in command stuff. That's kind of fun. And Riker gets on board the ship. It's kind of fun, but I don't like seeing Patrick play Picard playing someone else is kind of dull to me. Like, he doesn't do very much. Like, it doesn't engage me really. So that one is like, I will always skip that one. That 2-parter. Yeah, doesn't pull me in at all. And then
see that I don't understand. That's one thing I don't understand that bugs me when people say that. Like on a rewatch, I won't watch that episode. It's a rewatch of the series. You got to watch the series.
No, see, that's not. No, if I'm doing it for a rewatch, I'll watch it. But I mean, if I'm looking right, I want to watch something in season 5 right now. Click. I will not play those two. It's not. If in a rewatch I watch, I'm not going to ignore them because it's part of the evolution. But I will not choose to watch it for pleasure.
Okay.
Is what I mean. There's the ones I really will, and that's why sometimes even Voyager, because Voyager's difficult because I know them all so well. It's hard to watch all of them just for fun, because I'm also bad at rewatching things that I know really well, because I know it really well. I'm not getting much more out of it. Although I was watching a Voyager one, I was watching Think Tank when I was doing some packing for the convention. I was like, that's actually quite a good one. It's not bad. Like, it's a really good concept, like a really good sci-fi concept, with a clever set of reveals that are sort of obvious but also quite clever. And then we talk about like Inner Light, right? How Star Trek is Inner Light.
It's not. And I don't like Inner Light. Like it's a fine piece of storytelling. It's great, but it's just not a good Star Trek episode. I said that even about City on the Edge of Forever. You could replace the Star Trek crew with anybody, still have the same thing going on, and be a fantastic piece of storytelling. It's just not a good Star Trek episode per se. I mean, it's just got a Star Trek skin on it.
I mean, therefore, so is Star Trek 4. That's your least favorite Star Trek movie because it's the least Star Trek movie then. Because you could replace that.
Favorite, but it's not my favorite.
Because you could replace that crew with any crew and it would still be serviceable. That could be Back to the Future with the spaceship, you know.
Yeah.
But I think whereas Inner Light is a tremendous character study in terms of like Patrick Stewart acting, He's not playing Picard, and therefore that connection is instantly lost. Well, at least Sit on the Edge of Forever, Spock and Kirk have some great scenes. Like, Spock is great in the episode, and Kirk is great in the episode. So I think that is better than Inner Light in terms of Trek episode. But Inner Light is like a pure sci-fi novella. But it's deliberately not a Star Trek episode. But is it not capturing that Star Trek-ness of exploration and Idic and
it is, but and it's also listed as one of the best episodes of the series. And while I agree, it's great storytelling, great, well acted, all that. It's not one I would throw in to say, hey, here I was watching an episode of Star Trek. Because it's watching the story of this old man or this person that becomes an old man and his family, and it's like I could watch this on every other TV series out there. Don't care.
You almost just want to watch it on Orville. Like, give me the same episode as Orville. Let's watch it again, but like modern.
Just watch the first few minutes of the episode, and then the last few minutes where they get him back, and it was just it was a short Trek. It's fine.
But it does also link to what I've said lots of times, that often the best Star Trek, the best thing, is just a really good story that happens to take place in the Star Trek universe, and you link it to canon, which helps enhance it. That episode is a great sci-fi story, happens to be in the Star Trek universe. You can just remove it. Whereas In a Pale Moonlight is also that could be any sci-fi. That could be Battlestar Galactica. That could be Babylon 5. It really could be. But because it's so interwoven politically to the Star Trek universe, that everything in it is canon using. Everything is using everything, and there's new ships and there's good acting. So it's a great story, happens to be in the Trek universe, but the Trek elements help to give all the bonus context. That's why that one is as a better example of a good balance, I think. And obviously you'd agree because it's your favourite episodes of that form anyway.
Yeah. Well, we got some more super chats, but there's actually one comment I want to read first by Create Design. I honestly thought that DS9 didn't feel like Star Trek at the time. I didn't either. I didn't really watch it when it first came out, and the episodes I did watch were always the same stupid ones. So it's kind of like, I don't need to watch it. So it wasn't my favorite Star Trek show at all. And then I sat down with Sylvia, and she wanted me to watch it all with her because she loved it. And now it's my favorite because it does touch on a lot of things that are very, very human condition, and it's a great. It feels Star Trek. I understand it's a darker side of Star Trek, but it's still Star Trek. So.
Well, because it also has DS9 abandons the utopian outside, but it maintains the core of the people inside the station. The crew is still Starfleet. The crew is still good, and they're dealing with the situation. You have of the weeks where Bashir goes and helps people. Of the weeks where Sisko chooses to do this. These are still very Star Trek baseline things, even if the world is more sad and dystopian, and la. So you still have that base core, which keeps it grounded in Star Trek, even if tonally it's like, and for me, as I said before, it's less interesting to me than Voyager because it has no new aliens really, it has no new ships really. Once you hit the Dominion War, it's the same 14 ships for 3 years, and in Voyager we got 14 ships that year, and the next year, and the next year. It's infinitely more interesting to me, aliens and ships and cultures and things and art design. DS9 they didn't really, once they had the art design of the Dominion, they didn't have to really invent much for a couple of years. Really, if you actually break it down, it was all about the continuing narrative. Wow, we made Sisko's cabin, his office on the starbase. Yep, set designs were really, really reaching, top dollars for that, weren't they? And then Voyager's doing 3 cool sets a week. That's why I like Voyager more, because it's actually sci-fi. It's actually doing cool things in cool ways. It's definitely more Star Trek, but it's as people say, it's TNG light, but with the advancements of CG and makeup and still Michael Westmore, but with more money and more materials. Still the talent of Westmore.
Yeah, and I didn't have a problem with DS9 feeling a little bit outside of the Star Trek box because they were on this like new frontier. It was a space station. It felt like an old west town where people were coming and going. They wanted that frontier feel, which was fine. It's not the core of Starfleet. It's not the core of the Federation. We started on Earth in Picard, and because we're not in the Starfleet world, we're in the civilian world. Now all of a sudden, money's a thing because Raffi's complaining about his Picard's chateau and how she lives in a little hovel, and
which still makes no sense.
And her, it's just drug addiction. It's like you shouldn't see that stuff in the heart of the Starfleet and the Federation, in my opinion.
And also close to a major city on Earth.
Yes.
It's like if she decided to retreat to an isolated mountain in Tibet and chose to have a really rubber shanty and couldn't get like wireless power for replicator. Okay. But when she's a few miles out of LA, a major city in the Federation, it's like you're right there. You're poor on purpose.
Alright, let's see here. Hold up.
Let's see what people think.
Yeah, alright, so Truby Howard puts in $2. It feels like a fan film, generally bad writing. Double Guitars puts in €2, so thank you. Fleetpaw Swiftback, $5. Yes, however, it doesn't catch it in the same way as TNG, DS9, and Voyager. This episode felt Trek to me far more than the others. Well, yeah. Cameron Keane, us $5 Australian.
Thank you.
It's Star Trek, Jim, just not as we know it. I'm really enjoying it mostly. I seem to remember so many hated DS9, but now so many love it.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a thing for Discovery. It's not a well-crafted show. At least DS9 has good... That's the thing about having a 22-episode season. Some are good, some are bad. You pick your favourites, you pick your least favourites. When you have the same story for 13 episodes and it's not a good story overall, and it's just little chapters, yes, you can have better and worse chapters. If the story's not good, then it's all falling under the weight of the overriding story, It's like, is New Eden in Discovery Season 2 good enough to keep Season 2 from being not good? Not really. How could it be? But it's a shining example out of that season, but doesn't prop up the season. Whereas you can get something in Voyager Season 3 that's like, that's a really good episode, and that makes the season more special, because that one-off is a really good one. It ups the average.
Eugene, 1,000 rubles.
Oh, thank you.
Would In the Mirror directly be Trek if it was labeled as prime timeline, though? For me, it works because it's anti-Star Trek and anti-Star Trek universe. By the way, I'll never agree with the captain on Inner Light. It doesn't work work the same without Picard. No, but it would work the same with any other hero in any other show.
Ed Mercer would be not the same, because he's not being Picard. He's being... Is it Galen?
Yeah, no, Galen's the one where he's the mercenary.
Right. Oh, because he's not Picard, that's the point. I mean, he might be adding Picard-nisms, but he's not Picard. Like, it would have been more interesting if he actually thought he was Picard, and he thought he was stuck and had to have a life. You know what I mean?
That's what happened, though. He remembered the Enterprise, he remembered everything, and he tried to convince people for a while that it was true, and nobody believed him. Oh, yes.
Oh, I haven't seen that in...
So they just gave in and started, living his life.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen it in a long time, because I'd never choose to watch it. I thought he was the other person. Oh, okay.
No. And that's why it's good, because he lived a whole life as himself as Picard that got transferred over there and then came back to be in Picard still. So he had that whole thing.
He takes on the part of a person called Cayman. Weird.
Look out to our radio, £5. Star Trek Horizon, the fan film, is more Star Trek to me.
Well, yeah.
Star Trek Horizon, which one is it?
It's the NX era with all the green screen. The movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's alright. Not particularly amazingly well written, but I mean, it's bloody well crafted. Tommy Craft. um, just need another rewrite or two to help sort of refine it down a bit, or refine it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it's tricky because would you want? Because if the utopianness makes Star Trek, would Enterprise? Because Enterprise is not really utopian per se in terms of the Enterprise era, because it's not. People are nice enough, but there's still interpersonal like bitching, and it's more now. Or would you still class that as close enough to utopian to be classed as Star Trek Future?
Hard to say because we only really see Starfleet. We don't really see what's going on Earth.
Well,
but I wouldn't say that is it anywhere near as utopian as it was later, but.
So if you don't need that vibe, then is it about exploring? Is that important? Is it about the positive attitude and exploring? Because DS9 wasn't exploring or positive, so it can't be that those criteria either. So is Star Trek more just the vibe? Is more just the universe? Because the Star Trek universe, it's the most unique thing is the fact that it's in the Star Trek universe.
I think Star Trek is more how it's shot, how it's filmed. Give us ship flybys, give us establishing shots, give us good sets, give us interesting characters. That's why this episode kind of felt more Star Trek, because you saw the La Serena and Warp. You saw it, a nice flyby of it, as it said, the former neutral zone. You saw it come up to the Borg cube. A lot of great ship shots, and stuff that we have been missing, like severely lacking from even Discovery. Although Discovery's kind of got on track with that now. In season 2 and the new shorts had some good ship stuff, but I don't know. Like I think Star Trek's more of a feeling, like the way it's shot, the way it's paced, the way it's put together, as opposed to, because I mean shows. I think the reason it doesn't feel like Trek half the time is because it feels like a regular television episode of something else. Because a show about a lawyer, let's say, you don't see them driving in their car and the car like passing the camera. It's all in buildings, in rooms, whatever. There's none of the epicness that is Star Trek in something like that. And when we see an episode or multiple episodes without any of the epicness that's Star Trek, such as ships or really great things like that, it feels like an everyday normal piece of entertainment, and it doesn't feel like Star Trek. It doesn't feel like something special.
Well, and I think the chateau in Picard, yes, it's odd to think that he would have lots of alien stuff, but his travel has been so diverse that it seems even more odd that he would litter his chateau with only human-based artifacts. Because he would, as a consummate archaeologist, be finding the galaxy of stuff more interesting. So I would have assumed Picard would have a chateau filled to the brim with completely varied, interesting items from across the galaxy. And yet you watch anything in a chateau, and it's the most boring 21st century, any set in any procedural, any movie, James Bond set. Nothing about it is remotely intergalactic. And that's a shame, because you could easily done cool things there.
It's like his brother Robert still is there, and it's dictating what the house is supposed to look like, old-fashioned.
Yep. And you would think that he would fight the legacy and make it feel more like a home, because I could see him. Yes, he's retiring, and he wrote his books, as he said in the episode. But why wouldn't he want to continue his archaeology passion? I mean, why can't civilian Picard go on archaeology runs? Actually, that's a great point. Exactly. Why couldn't he?
Adventure, it's still out in space. Exactly, it's something that his character, I think, would do. Unless something drastic happened to him that we're not aware of.
But we still don't understand why he would even make the saving the Romulans, despite them having been able to save themselves, be his life's career goal at the end of that. It's such a small problem in comparison to everything else in his entire career. Like, he's cared about archaeology way more than Romulans ever. No offense to Romulans.
Something to do with his mind meld.
Yeah.
Could have had something to do with his mind meld with Spock.
And Sarek.
Yeah.
It's true.
Eugene, though, 500 rubles.
Thank you.
Kamen is specifically not Picard. He is a family man with wife, children, and grandchildren. It's another version of Picard's fate, like a tapestry, with very different choices in life. Also, it establishes events in lessons. Lessons. What is lessons? Is that an episode?
I think it means like you learn lessons that he learns throughout the episode that we see. I think it means like bite-sized lessons.
Yeah, but I don't care.
Well, and also it doesn't change him.
Yeah, but I don't care about
Does it change him very much? I mean, not really, apart from the flute.
No.
I mean, you know, like I said, he should have been married with kids in Picard. He should have a son. I mean, to be fair, they haven't said he hasn't got a son in Starfleet or a daughter, but he should have a son or daughter in Starfleet. It's been, 21 years. I mean, they could, if the show's 18 years after Picard, the obvious thing you do is you give him 3 kids, or not 3, you have to give him a kid, but give him a kid in Starfleet.
And Eugene says it is the episode Lessons, which I don't know what the hell that one is, so. Oh, that's with the girl that plays the piano that he's got a...
Yeah, that's a nice episode. Yeah.
It's a great episode.
Yeah, that's a good sequel follow-up.
Yeah.
Should have had the girlfriend. Would have been nice.
You guys know that all Picard's vintage heirloom furniture burned in the fire that killed his family, along with burning his chateau. It all burned. This is an alternate timeline. Dun dun dun. I like it. It explains the Discovery shuttles.
Yeah. Well, I think someone said to us a while ago it was only the barn that burned.
One of the outbuildings or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't actually the whole thing. Yeah.
They got trapped in the building or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because they didn't want to have fire safety stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of, where's Robert's wife? Like, she's still alive. You should see her in the show.
Yeah, it's weird not to mention any of that stuff. I mean, they've just done quite a poor job of even expanding on when, where, how, who.
And Eugene says the fire was so hot it moved the chateau from France to California.
Yeah. 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 Do you think you could... Because obviously he could just replicate his furniture again. Could you replicate the furniture into an age state of 500 years? Like that much damage and wear and tear?
I would imagine so.
I would imagine so too. So why not? It's a replica vintage falling apart chair. I replicated it yesterday. It's falling apart. Perfect!
I need to fix it. I'm going to go with the hammer and nails.
Yeah. Well, that's the trick, isn't it? All cadets need to learn how to fix broken chairs that are designed broken so you can fix them with hammers. No, it's interesting. See, for me, I think a lot of the Star Trek-ness just comes from the universe. Comes from the fact that this is a unique universe with unique races and guidelines and space. How many ship shows have there been? Dozens. And yet the Star Trek VFX has a feel. It isn't the same as Firefly, as Battlestar, as Babylon. There's a certain logic and, not say rules, but a certain feel that comes from that stuff. And it was obviously a lot of it was the same team for a good amount of time. That's obviously why. But grandiose is a good way of saying it. But just using the universe for me is always one of the most important things, because that's the buffet that only you have access to. Only a Star Trek writer can access the buffet of Star Trek. And therefore, when you use it, you're giving the field because you're using it. In this episode, we have the Hugh, we have the Borg, we have the guy in the alcove, we have this lady in costume, we have the Roman neutral zone, we have the warp, we have the Roman ale bottle, we have the gas in the same way as Nemesis to kill people, we have the Romulan mythology, we have the smooth ears, we have the, all these levels, and none of it feels forced. It's just, the norm.
Fisher 2000 says, rewatch TNG Family and compare it to Picard. Seriously, this was a one-off episode and it tells a better story with not as much context. Oh, we did just rewatch it.
And it's much better than Picard's been.
For Picard.
It's much better than Picard. I mean, that's, yeah. It's good.
And Herbus Mega says, the Discovery shuttles can be explained by the fact they remake old car designs all the time. But the problem is they never existed in the Prime universe, Prime timeline, so no.
I mean,
hate that argument. Oh, they're off-balled shit. Well, no, they never existed, so how can they be around?
Obviously, that's not a good argument either, but if they were an old design, why does Starfleet Command use them, and Random Street in France, and Random Place, Data Institute, not Starfleet, and Romulan Planet, and why is every location? You can't say the entire planet was delved in the craze of Discovery era, so every single person, every single part of the world suddenly got a Discovery. They traded in their Type 11s or Type 9s or Type 6s for a Discovery shuttle. The argument only works if it was in one scene as a fun Easter egg. It can't possibly work for everything. Otherwise, we should also be seeing TOS and everything in between. It's not a good argument. You know it's not. Think about it. It doesn't work.
And he also goes on to say, new Dodge Challengers and Chargers are made to look like the old ones. Yeah, but not exactly like the old ones. They're modified. They're new signs on the classic shapes.
And also, every single make of car isn't now the same car, and not everyone's replacing all their cars for that exact car. It's like saying if you go into London and every single car on every little street corner is a 1930s Volkswagen, because everyone wants to have an old 1980s Volkswagen. Every single car, driving, parked, every single car. It's never going to happen. Like, never. Doesn't make any sense. That's why it would have made sense if they had every type of shuttle, and that would be kind of cool. Every single type of shuttle of every part of every era. And we're like, oh wow, I guess they use shuttles like this guy can only afford or can only get a Discovery shuttle. This guy can only get Type F. This guy can only get an X pod. Wow, he's not well off in terms of prestige.
Now they're talking about cloning people with transporters in the chat. Wow. And my argument's valid. Those shuttles never existed in the Prime timeline. I kind of feel like you could somewhat justify it by a ton of old shuttles being sold to civilian market. Oh my god.
But then why would Starfleet Command be using them?
And everybody, yeah.
And also Romulan settlers. And also, you can't double down on every single thing. Because I almost guarantee if we cut to Romulus will have Discovery era shuttles. Cut to Kronos, Stuart, Discovery era shuttles are flying around because the VFX people just didn't get the memo, weren't self-aware enough. I don't know. You can't say they don't care, but I guess the person at the top just said use it anyway. Is the only thing you can kind of say with that.
Yeah. Tyler X2F01 puts in $5.
Thank you.
Easy Picard retcon. He has PTSD and suffers from aromatic syndrome. Nothing on the show actually happened.
That's such a cop-out. And then why bother making the show?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, that would certainly explain why the show feels so cheap. Because they're saving them, it's a non-detailed hallucination.
Yeah.
But that's a poor man's excuse.
Oh. And Herbster Magnus also says there are some shitty episodes of TNG too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Shitty episodes of all Star Trek series.
Mm-hmm.
Which we've reviewed a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why you're saying that specifically, because we already knew that, but thank you.
Yeah, I think I gave Descent Part 2 a 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
And that was a season 7 episode.
And that part 1 of it in season 6, wasn't it? This is because the season finale for 6.
Well, I said Descent Part 2.
And then Descent. Oh, just part 2. Sorry.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Part 1 is much better than Part 2. Part 2 is awful. It's terrible. It's really, really bad. Yeah, but I always take the argument of we can make new Star Trek. We can have problems in new Star Trek because old Star Trek had problems. It's like, well, yes, well, why was Arrow season 1 really well written 4 years ago? Well, they could also. It's like, why is the new Flash so good, whereas the old Flash TV show is so bad? Why don't they just make a bad show because the old show is bad? It's like, well no, because you've got higher standards now with more writing and better CG and better planning, and you can't justify it in the same way, and that's why you can give old shows a bit more leeway, because if they only had 300,000 for an episode, 4 sets and 2 camera guys or like TOS, like the cameras couldn't move properly, so therefore their shot choice was limited by physical. You can't say, well, the shots were really uncinematic. It's like the cameras were the size of my entire office. Not really, but you know what I mean. It's like these limitations were harsh and exacting, and then you look at their merits of what they could. Now the fact that they got that camera, whatever camera they used inside the it was with Soji and Narek in their beds with the cover over them. Obviously it was an optical illusion, but it still felt like a really small close camera. Tells you how small cameras have got to be to these intimate shots that feel so close and personal. So tech's changed, and you can't judge it by the same standards, and you can't bitch in the same way.
Yeah. Taylor X2F01, $2. Yes, the cheap way out. Riker is a chef on the Enterprise.
Yeah.
Well, yes, he was the whole time. He was always the chef.
Time travel.
Oh, I think I missed one. No, I didn't. I did not.
And Double Guitar says they actually did some amazing creative things we thought they had to work with. Yes, limitations meant that what they managed to achieve could be even more impressive. Now it's not impressive in the same way when you see a fight scene. When you see a CGI battle, it's like the end of Discovery Season 2 is not impressive anymore because it was just, it's just VFX noise. No, so you can't just keep doing end game levels impressive, but you can have really simple impressive things. There's a shot from this last Doctor Who that I watched, which is the Praxius one, and they shot on location somewhere, and there's a great shot of the Doctor running up a beach, and there's this beautiful mountain range and beautiful water. I'm like, that's a really good looking shot. I'm impressed by that shot. On its own merits, brilliant cinematography, well done them. Yeah, I've seen mountains in things before. Just something about it was really impressive. But do you think now, though, that now moving forward, that Star Trek's going to feel more like Star Trek? That it's going to now have found its rhythm?
I hope so. I can't say for sure yes, but I would certainly say I hope so. I mean, if we're getting Riker in the next one, then, I don't know.
Although, as we know, that was an afterthought that they rewrote the script and got them into film right at the end. So, hopefully it's not just going to be a 5-minute intro and then leave. I mean, I think Marina said they should film it over, basically a weekend. It was, a couple of days shoot and then she went back home. So, it wasn't anything too long. Although, if it's outside, there's only so much lighting you do outside. Therefore, the setup time is less time, Often on set, just building the light rig takes several hours, and that's time of the day. But based on the trailer, I can't imagine how they're not important in the episode. And
the question remains: are they on the planet, or are they a flashback? But we'll talk about that tomorrow with the predictions video.
Yes. But I don't even know where the story's going to go now. They've sort of concluded one major plot, sort of. I mean, I think they're going to have to end on a cliffhanger. Maybe they're finally going to see, the cliffhanger will finally be a see a Federation starship to kind of wouldn't it be nice if the final episode shows, in the captain's chair of a Federation starship saying, Captain Jean-Luc Picard, you're under arrest for crimes against the Federation. Very similar to Season 1 end, in terms of a Federation starship, but kind of saying Season 2 are going to be more Federation themed and... Well, actually, no, because you could probably argue him getting arrested because he's harbouring Daj, or Soji, who's illegal. I mean, that's, I think, justifiable. And then you could make that point.
But that's for tomorrow's discussion.
Well, yeah. But I can see it going that way.
Could happen. Picard is breaking the law by aiding a synth. Yeah, well. I just want the USS Titan cannon.
It would be nice. And obviously we bloody well hope that, you know, that Riker's not retired, because that'd be sad. But that's obviously tomorrow, like you say.
Yeah. Maybe everyone dies. It would be like when Kylo Ren says, let the past die. Kill it if you have to. It's the only way to become who you were meant to be.
Yes, it was our favourite part of that movie, saying that everything before us was shit, in a sense. Wonderful.
So why are you all in the theater? Yeah. Carlos says, as the CBS exec once said, that Star Trek Picard is going to be a hybrid. If translated, it meant both visual as Star Trek Discovery and Picard will be intertwined. Star Trek Discovery will be not a full Trek. Sounds like something a CBS executive would say, because I don't understand it.
Maybe saying that because of the going to the future, that now Discovery Season 3 can be as far away from Trek as possible, because it's no longer needing to be, you know.
Yeah, well, that's what they should have done from the beginning. But
which is why I do point out, I think the next season will be the best season of Discovery, because it'll be completely independent. They might really kind of hurt the Star Trek universe with saying the future stuff, you know, the Federation's broken, because, you know, you can... That's sad. And then obviously they're obviously not going to mention anything about the Temporal Cold War or about 20th century time agents, because those guys are still around. Even if the Federation is destroyed in the 31st century, the time agents are still around because they're out of time. It's irrelevant to if the Federation's gone or not. They still exist in their out of time state until they're recalled in real time.
But they're only in the Prime universe, or the Prime timeline, so they're not their timeline. That's what people are missing. Telma ML puts in $5 and said, I found your channel recently. Tell us a bit about yourselves.
What a nice way to end off, I think, Stuart. If you haven't got much more to say.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you want to know?
Who are you, Stuart? I barely know you after 5.5 years.
I don't even know where to start. I'm awesome. Hi, how are you? That sums it up. I don't know.
You're all bashful now, aren't you?
I just don't know what to say.
Really? Just you know, if you were like, if you were the VHS of Stuart Foley and you turned it around and there was the blurb, what would be the quick summary of the
synopsis?
story? Yeah, the synopsis of Stuart Foley. With the reviews for the Independent, amazing, and the you know, CBS All Access reviews said outstandingly bold. Don't know, you know, 5-star, would recommend.
Former private investigator and Star Trek fan turns to a new career of YouTubing, creating a widely community loved Star Trek web series on YouTube. Yeah, there you go. Travels
internationally, collects starships more than most sane people would ever think sensible.
True.
He says the man with the wall of starships.
Well, she did ask too. How we met.
I'm gonna find the video and post the video. Well, I mean, come on, it's funnier to just, you know, how we met. We have a video, because then the past us, how we met.
We've only told the story 1,000 times.
Okay, that's not actually, it wasn't searchable.
Yes. Becky's right. Likes chocolate milk. Drives a 1979 Camaro. Has a pug named Precious and a chihuahua named Dot. Beautiful wife named Sylvia, who happens to be my admiral. What else do you need to know about me? Oh, big fan of Sherlock Holmes. Sword collector. Loves model trains.
And I can't even find the simple us talking about us. Although, boy, I'm searching. I'm just like scrolling down, boy, in a lot of random videos I completely forgot about. Jesus.
Yeah.
Like,
I actually watched our old. I watched our old K7 video last night.
oh.
And I remember the first part of it where it's like, I'm like, attention, crew, this is your captain speaking, and do the whole thing. It was all scripted, and your reaction to it. And I remember having to film that about 7 fucking times because I kept breaking out laughing with your reaction to the announcement. And anyway, it's fun to watch the old stuff. Go back and watch our old stuff.
Look, I was committed to the bit. I was committed. You know,
it was good. It was fantastic.
Thank you. God, it's great.
God, you can tell we can tell we were reading scripts. You can tell.
Oh,
it's not as naturalistic as it is now. Yeah, we have scripts now, but we're much better at it. That was like 4 years ago, I think, that one.
Jeez. But it's fun to scroll down because instantly I'm like, new Star Wars trailer, episode 7 discussion. Like, that'd be fun to go back and rewatch. Like, what the hell were our thoughts? And new Star Discovery alien designs questions, Trekyards podcast 21. And I got a picture of Shran, made him purple and put a 3rd antenna. And that's what I did. Isn't that great? Isn't that brilliant? Completely forgot I did that. Like, there's so much we do that why would I remember it?
Well, we should probably still tell the story how we met, just for telling.
Okay, I'll tell your part, you tell my part.
Oh God, okay.
Okay, so I had a YouTube channel making model builds, and did that for a while, making videos.
Remember, that's Captain Foley talking.
Yeah, this is Captain Foley from Trekyards. But how am I called Captain? Well, me and the wife, she gave me that name a while ago during sex. It was great.
That's not quite accurate, but,
but it's funnier. Yeah, I was doing model build stuff, and it was great. And I started reviewing the movies, and I did them all at one point. I made videos about them because why not? And I filmed my TV with bad audio-ish, but it was great, and they're quite fun to watch. But I didn't know any better at the time.
About my collection.
Oh yeah, and I also talked about my collection of figures. And then I did a review of Star Trek Wrath of Khan, and I ran into this message from this guy called Samuel in the UK, and he saw one of my videos that says my birthday, and so he sent me this intro, and I was like, what the hell, that's amazing, and it was a new channel intro, and it really upped the quality of my channel, and that's what you said this before, this is not me bragging
myself.
That's why
I'm not saying anything.
I know, but I can see your face, you're right there.
I remember what you're saying.
And we paused a bit, and then we got talking again, and then we decided to make a show. We had a Skype call, and I got this book. Again, I'm just still being Stuart here. Got this book, and I have all the original notes, and I recently did a live talking about it and showing it, and it was great. And I know Sammy watched that and really liked that. Getting very meta here. And then we just made a show, and then kept doing it, and kept doing it, and kept doing it, and kept doing it. We're still here. Right, now, Samuel, what's your side of the story?
Well, I'm a filmmaker and editor, and I was, while I edit, I listen to things, which I don't know how you can do that, by the way. How you can edit something while you're listening to something else, because you have to listen to your edit, so I don't understand. Anyway, so he throws on random videos, and he found my I found his Wrath of Khan video, and I learned a few things, and I thought I knew everything about it, but he's much smarter and much more attractive than I am. So
I have said that, yes.
And Sylvia's getting a kick out of this, by the way.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
Samuel right now, telling his half of the story. Oh, what?
Your daughter got a puppy.
I know. She told me earlier. Anyway, where were we?
Learned a thing or two.
Oh, yes. And then, I found out it was his birthday, and I thought, I don't have any extra time, but I'll still do it anyway. Why not? Made an intro for him and sent it his way, and he really liked it. So he contacted me, and I made him a few more intros, much to my chagrin, because, don't have any time. And, anyway, and then, so we started talking, and we both like ships. So we decided we'd do a ship show, and ta-da, Trekyards was born. And I'm British.
I'm from London, and so is he.
I am.
And either of us could say that. Who was I being there? Was I being Stuart or Samuel? You'll never know.
And Thomas says, so one of you is from the UK, the other's from Canada. I heard and a boot. Nobody says a boot ever, because I always say about, but that's okay. But yes, I am from London, Ontario, and he's from the UK.
From near London, UK, but not really. I haven't got a London accent at all, but yes. And you've had a very unique version of that that story. Look at our radio. Any chance to bring back old Trekyards intros? Yeah, we had to stop using those because the music got flagged for some reason after 4 years of using them. All of a sudden, they were getting flagged. Yeah, literally, that's the only reason they stopped, because like 3 of them, they were getting flagged, and I would put them up, wait a bit, and like I remember one, it was like 45 minutes before I went live, it got unmonetized, so I had to delete it, re-edit it, re-render it, re-upload it. The video was 3 hours late because of that, and I was like, well, it's not worth putting them on if it's gonna be shit, And yes, we can make new music, but we just sort of never got around to doing that. Yeah, it's weird, but true, literally. That's the only reason why. It's not great. It's
true. Anyway, it just happened to be the right people at the right time.
Oh, I found the video. Damn it. I just found the video.
We both had videos. We both had schedules that were flexible, so it worked.
Okay. Shall I play the video of us talking about why we started Trekyards as a meta way of now hearing our bullshit version? What is the actual version of us saying it in the past? Okay.
Sure.
Let's watch it. Let's watch a video of us talking about it 3 years ago, but metally of us in the same room, because the Trekyards Q&A. So this is going to be very.
James McGill, $5. Episode 6 rocks. Great job on showing how Picard affected by the Borg. Felt this connected TNG and First Contact. Well, Borg Cube should have at least had green lights.
I don't mind no green lights because I could see them turning it off. That's not my problem. It's just the entire aesthetic being different and no link whatsoever in any way. Should have had something.
And Telma says, where is everybody in the chat from? She's originally from Brazil, but living in Texas.
Oh. Unique. I like it. All right. Are you ready to turn off your audio and listen to us talk about us?
I'm always wanting to listen to us talk about us.
It's
my favorite topic by our favorite people.
Released January 19th, 2017, but filmed the year before when we were with each other in Mission America 1. So this itself was 6 months old. So this was 2016 us.
Oh, this is going to be cringy. Good God. Okay, here we go.
Okay. So mute yourself, Stuart, because I have to up the... there we go.
Welcome back, everybody, to another Captain and Commander's Q&A. We are live here in person, in stereo, in living color.
Yes.
NBC.
Yes.
When it was NBC.
Yes.
Anyway, we are here today to answer your questions and comments and address things and hang out and look very suave and debonair in our beautiful TNG uniforms. Yeah.
Is this confusing to you?
It better not be.
Or
there's an explanation. Look very suave. And the key to finding out what that explanation is to watch every episode of Trekyards ever. There's subtext. There's clues in each one. You'll learn the answer.
You see, if you take the 14th word of the 3rd paragraph, combine it every episode, you come up with a secret letter, which tells you to go to a secret safety deposit box in a city. We don't know where yet. We haven't finished the season, so let's finish the season. You open that up, gives you a ledger.
You know what? Let's just get to the question.
I'm so sorry.
Yes. All right. The question today is one that's been asked by many people over our lifespan.
Okay.
I guess. Our Trekyards lifespan, not ours. The Trekyard span. Anyway, why do we do Trekyards?
Oh.
Well, it's pretty simple.
Okay, go for it.
Well, as this started out, we both love starships.
And I think you guys know that, yeah.
Yeah, like there's a lot of starships around here. Anyway, and we wanted to make a show that we ourselves as fans would want to watch to learn about new starships, old starships, just starships in general. And I think we've kind of captured that. We just want to. It started out being a passion project. We just wanted to, like we said, create something that we ourselves would want to watch.
But most people want to do something, and they never do.
But we're both creatives. Now, you were doing YouTube videos, so you already had the knowledge, the passion, and the can be botheredness to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a filmmaker by trade. I got a degree in it, so I obviously have all that background anyway. And I've always wanted to make films since I was about 13. So hell of a lot of passion. Put the two together, and we just, I mean, why would we start? But we sort of did.
It was a weird gathering of events and people, the right people at the right time, and the right circumstances that evolved into what this is. Just our flexible schedules for each of us that we could actually accommodate doing this, because a lot of people ask us, how do we put out so much content? And trust me, it's a job and a half. Because
there's a lot of careful planning as well.
Yeah, because I have a job and a half. This is, but this is becoming much more of a full-time thing for me, because we're doing daily content now, and there's so much great stuff that I think it's great that we do.
Yeah.
That I would love to spend more time doing this. It does seem like a job now almost. It's not really a hobby anymore.
But the question is it a responsibility at this point?
Yes, it is, because we have fans who rely on us and want new content from us. And
the amount of times I've heard the story of, I because we're in different time zones, I get my coffee in the morning, I come back and watch your Saturday.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
I've heard that too. And the thing that really hits me hard is the people with depression and anxiety. They message me on a regular basis saying, you really helped me through a rough patch. I can't wait to see my Trekyards every week. You guys cheer me up. You're funny together. You have fun. You enjoy the same things that I do.
Yeah.
You're the geek friend that I can talk, or I can listen to, because no one in my family likes Star Trek. I have nobody to talk to about it. So they come on our forum and they talk to us. They watch our shows, and it helps them out. And I suffer from depression and anxiety myself. And I mentioned to my psychiatrist last time I was at my appointment, just saying about Trekyards and how much all the responses I've got that I've helped people with their depression. And it kind of hit me when I told her that I'm making a difference in people's lives by doing something that I enjoy. I don't always enjoy it. Some days are worse than others. Some days I don't want to do this. But put me in front of a camera and just turn on, and I'm ready to go.
And for the most part, even if you're really tired in the morning or a little bit, not cranky, but not ready, I can just chat to you. We can chat about something fun. Once we're in the mood.
We always cheer each other up. So
and
it's a good dynamic, a good chemistry between us. And I think the fact that I'm making a difference in people's lives, maybe that's why I was put here. It's kind of deep and woo. But, I mean, I've always wondered what I wanted to be when I grow up. I still don't know, and I'm 42. But this is probably
Doug says that occasionally.
Yeah, this is probably the closest I've come to something that I really enjoy and really look forward to doing.
Matters.
And being able to talk to you guys. We've met some great people through Trekyards. So.
We really have. And for me, I think just like the depression thing, I'm getting the chance to make Star Trek in the CG I'm doing. Like, I've always been almost my favourite parts of Star Trek were looking at the ships and flying and seeing all the CG and wondering, ooh. And here I am with the real models and the real planets and the real stars and the real space stations, and I get to make Star Trek as my job. It might not be licensed, it might not be for CBS, it might not even be with any actors, whatever. But I get to construct, use my film background to construct Star Trek stuff with the best real things. And that is a dream. I said this before. It's a dream come true that you never knew you could even dream. Because seriously, what a ridiculous thing to dream.
Sorry.
Even like 4 or 5 years ago, if I said to myself, hey, Sam from the future, you are going to be able to have the entire Enterprise, Voyager, DS9, and other franchises like Asset Library, and you get to play with, to make a Star Trek show with an amazing friend from Canada that you see, twice this year, and you get to show Rick Sternbach new shots that he asks for, with his before child, whatever. That's not a dream that anyone could have, and realistically everything can come true, but it happens. And it's hard work, and it's love, and it's passion.
And I've said this before too. If you had told me a few years ago that I would be not only got to get to speak with, but be friends with people like Doug Drexler, Rick Sternbach, John Eves, Andrew Probert, people that we talk to on a regular basis now, and they're actually happy to see us, and they ask us about our lives like they're friends of ours now. We see them, we get a huge hug. I would have told you were nuts, but here we are.
Well, every time I'm speaking to John Eves, he says, "Oh, how's your family? How's your girlfriend?" I'm like, great, thanks, John. How's yours?
And John's super busy, so the fact that he takes time out of his schedule to talk to us, to care about our lives, that is incredible.
But I think everyone understands. For us, we're inside it. We are the two, and we really reinforce each other. We're like structural and Taylor fields. We reinforce each other, but we're in the middle. But everyone else sees us as creating this content for the fans every single week, every single day. But we're just the ones doing it. so we don't see it in the same way.
Mhm.
And so like they see it as, wow, they are producing the Trek for everyone and new information, new renders. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of weird when you put yourself out of the bubble that we personally are in. And how much are we doing for everyone?
Well,
Like,
that's
content.
interesting too, because I've heard that a lot as well. That our show has brought back people's love and passion for
Yeah,
Star Trek
I mean,
that they had lost years ago. They're back to designing starships, drawing things, getting creative, getting back into Star Trek,
Yeah.
all because of our show. That's insane to me. And people will message me personally and be like, you know, I got a question or blah, blah, blah. I want you to look at this or whatever. And I'll
Yeah.
answer them right back. And they're like, oh my God, I can't believe you answered me back. It's like, okay, I'm just the dude, just like.
That's probably enough of that. I thought it was a how we got started. It was actually a why do we. It's close.
Difference.
It is different. I guess we never did that. But there you go, guys. What do you think of seeing old school us? Sort of have said, hey, you should
It's
do.
only 4 years ago. It's only 4 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
And yes, your beard. What the hell? What is this? When did you grow a beard?
I know, right?
Was that deliberate or you just stopped shaving it? Because I didn't even realise.
I was deliberate.
Why? Why?
Because it lengthens my face.
Ah.
I got kind of. That's what. First reason I first started growing is because it's to hide my double chin. And then I thought I'd grow it longer and point it because it elongates my face. It makes me look not as fat. You know.
And yes, people saying we should wear uniforms for reviews. I did wear the uniform for the first review of TNG, kind of assuming that they were going to do more flashbacks with Brent, and I get to. That's what I said to you.
Oh, Picard.
Yeah.
TNG.
Oh yeah, wear the TNG uniform. I said to you, every time we see the uniforms, I'll wear it. We never saw the uniform again, so I didn't wear it again.
And Raj says live streaming and reviewing old Trekyards videos would be good to see. That would be fun. Just kind of shit talking our old videos. That might be kind of funny.
Kind of hard to do though, as well, because you got to talk over us, talking over us. Because I've also going to be watching us, so it'll be 3 versions of theoretically. So I'm probably going to listen to it on the phone, or like have the phone there. So it's a little bit difficult for me anyway.
Yeah.
But possibly. Yeah.
Herbsta Magus puts in $2.
Bang it.
I'm not ever trying to be combative, just sharing ideas.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah, not a problem.
There you go. Telma, I hope that helped. That was all from one super chat. A little about us. If not, go watch some of our old videos. Doing this like for 6 years now, so over
Yeah.
2,000 videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still here. We're still the same people.
Yeah.
Somebody was saying your hair was darker then, but it wasn't. It's just because it's darker lighting, because not all these lights are on.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really compare one DSLR of both of us in the same room with lights in one direction versus this. It doesn't really.
And this is like, we have 4K cameras and stuff now. So
Yeah, and also, I mean, you know how annoying this camera's been in my room to try and get the colour right and contrast right to actually look good. So, yeah, I think at one point we made my hair look like really light brown. It's like, nope. No, let's not keep that going because it doesn't look right. But there you go, guys. Bit of a thing within a thing.
Jonathan Archer puts in $2 Australian. I love TNG Trekyards. We need more uniform episodes.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm down.
Yeah, no. Well, before it gets to be summer here, then it'll be completely impractical because it does kind of, you know.
Suck.
Yeah. Well, hey.
Here, I have air conditioning. I'm usually cold down here in the summer, so.
Well, I think I said this to you already, but I'm actually going to be buying an aircon unit for my room, for my office anyway. Because fans, you know, are loud. I mean, aircons are loud, but it's a different sort of loud. You can't have fans that sort of spread the air around. But if I actually got an aircon unit, it might be expensive, or at least, you know, a portable one. But if I can actually blow cold air in the room, I think that's be more effective. Even if it, you know, because you know how hot I get with filming. Like, you wouldn't.
Well, I know how you get.
Like, if you were here in the hottest day, you would not be. You would say, "I'm not going to film today." Not I'm bragging that I can do it, but I mean, you're not as good with like heat, and the humid heat. And
You don't know anything.
I know more than you think.
Fun will now commence, says Trekyards. Consider doing impromptu AMAs. What is that? Ask must answer.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, we used to, yeah. I mean, you did Captain Q&As, which I really liked because I got to ask you questions too.
Yeah, I like doing Q&As. So
Yeah.
we should do Q&As where somebody asks me a question, you have to answer it,
Ooh.
and that would be fun. Or you have to answer the questions about me,
Yep.
either legit or totally fake it, and they have to
Yep.
decide whether you're telling the truth or
Yep.
telling.
Yep. Yep.
That'd be fun.
Well, let's do that. Let's do that as a drinking one because that gets more and more interesting. $5 to ask a question, 10 to ask a question about the person. The other person has to answer it for them.
That's awesome.
That'd be really funny actually.
Yeah, and you got to guess whether it's fact or fiction, like the old show that what's his name, Riker.
Oh yeah.
He used to host a show called Fact or Fiction.
Mr. Cancels the UK 6 years in a row.
Yeah, you're not bitter.
I'm bitter.
They got kinky quick. LOL. I know how hot you get. You took that the wrong way.
Anyway, so we'll see you tomorrow for our predictions.
Yes, prediction video tomorrow should be fun.
It should be fun. Have I cheered, or have we cheered you up, Stuart?
A little bit.
Good.
That was fun watching that last part.
Yeah, and we had a very different vibe because obviously you have to in the same place at the same time. It is different. Like we have lag here, and we have the camera vibe. We're in the same room. It's a different thing. That's why we always like doing trips where we get to. Yeah, I mean that's always the joke, isn't it? In all of our, yeah. But hey, you might be coming to England in August. Maybe. That'd be kind of cool.
Maybe.
And then we can do. And it did actually work doing a live in this room with the two of us. Actually worked just fine. So that might be cool. I can get a Barry to drive up here, and we can do a special guest in the same room while the room's really crowded.
Damn. In August when it's hot. Awesome.
Oh god, yeah, no, okay, maybe not.
So looking forward to that.
Oh god.
Outside. Just set up a table outside with the microphone and.
Yeah, but then you'll actually have the pure heat. There isn't. That's worse though.
In the shade. There's a breeze though.
Is there though? Don't count on it.
And there is in Canada.
That's it. Yeah, assume there. No, yeah. When you go outside, it's like it's a bit cooler. Here, it's like right. It's the same, but now there's sunlight. Shit. It's not any better.
Great.
All right. So yes, did episode 6 finally capture the Star Trek in Picard? Yes. More so. Question answered. There we go. We did it. We did it.
They're on the right track. Let's keep it up.
Yes. And bloody hell, I'm excited. I know you don't count Marina Sirtis's Troy very much, but as if like Star Trek, I mean, really hope they fully committed to the bit of having Riker and Troy, and look forward to meeting the daughter. Hopefully she'll be awesome. And who knows, maybe she will be the canon link. Maybe we'll like see her run out of her room, and in her room there's a post Enterprise E, and like because I mean, like you said in the last episode, you had a flounder flobber book thing. That's a brilliant reference. It's perfect. Yeah. So wouldn't it be great if they have if she has model kits Enterprise E, or of the Titan? Yeah, she has her dad's X ship as a model kit, or his Titan. That would make sense. Have Riker have a gold Titan on his home desk. Perfect.
Or his daughter could have a Foley class model in her room. I mean, that'd be awesome too.
But wouldn't you be quite confused that they've stolen your design and now it's
I'd be happy about it. I'd be mad, but I'd be happy.
It'd be really weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, join us tomorrow, guys. Same time, same place, different discussion. And have a great evening, day, and morning. Say goodbye, Stuart.
Goodbye, Samuel.
Bye, Stuart.
Bye, guys.